Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Is this the new leftist strategy? Every single time they're caught on a bogus narrative or releasing totally fake news, the response is not to retract the story or to claim, you know what, we were wrong, that was a bogus narrative. It's to say, well, actually, this needs more context. Just yesterday, I released a video of Karine Jean-Pierre essentially doing the same thing where the White House outright lied in order to give Joe Biden credit over something he had absolutely nothing to do with. Then Karine Jean-Pierre said, well, it needs more context. There's more to this story, and went on a whole gibberish rant, completely changing the subject. Well, now we have a very similar moment, this time with CNN's Don Lemon, who did an entire segment on Elon Musk trying to debunk a narrative, except he literally didn't debunk the narrative, went on to say, well, this needs more context, and then completely changed the subject to something entirely different in a failed attempt to try to justify the initial bogus narrative that, by the way, CNN themselves at the time promoted without question, without fact check. And here they are fact checking what they refused to fact check in the first place by refusing to fact check what they got wrong. How does this guy still have a job is really beyond me. I mean, he must have some serious pull at the network. And probably what's even more surprising is, how does someone like this, someone so dishonest, someone so incompetent, get himself in a position in the news media where he's making millions of dollars a year? Don Lemon isn't worth minimum wage, let alone millions of dollars, and let me show you exactly why. We've got some stuff to get into, CNN dishonesty, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, CNN's new image, their new move towards neutral journalism. Nice in theory, commendable, but it's just not gonna work unless you get rid of these dorks. Let me give you guys the context, some backstory. Don Lemon tries to rewrite the hands up, don't shoot myth, an absurd knock on Elon Musk. It all started off with this little Twitter exchange between Andy Ngo and Elon Musk. Hands up, don't shoot is one of the biggest hoaxes to come from the American left in the last decade. That big lie has inspired many to become radicalized and militant. Elon Musk responds, true. According to Obama's DOJ, the Ferguson shooting was unequivocally self-defense, so the Ferguson protests were, if you believe Obama's DOJ, based on a false premise. I mean, most of us who are informed of this type of thing, this isn't exactly news. And honestly, if you're a leftoid, this is probably a subject that I would try to avoid in a debate. You'd probably end up looking like a real fool in the end. But of course, looking like a real fool, that's what Don Lemon does. So he took on the challenge. And well, it was pretty much a train wreck. Let me show you.
Well, that was Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, mocking a t-shirt the company made years ago in an effort to show support for its black employees and users of Michael Brown. In a now deleted follow-up tweet, Musk noted that the shirts came after the Ferguson protests and repeated a right-wing talking point suggesting that the protests following Brown's death were overblown. And he wrote, and I quote here, hands up, don't shoot was made up. The whole thing was a fiction. Now, Musk replaced a deleted tweet with a follow-up tweet containing only the link to a Department of Justice report on Brown's death. Okay, facts first here on CNN. Musk said that hands up, don't shoot was made up. The whole thing was a fiction. This needs some context. So the phrase hands up, don't shoot became a national rallying cry in 2014 in solidarity with Michael Brown, who's the unarmed black teenager who some witnesses said had his hands up to surrender when he was shot and killed by a white police officer, Darren Wilson. In 2015, the Justice Department cast doubt on the hands up account, concluding in a report that Wilson shot Brown multiple times only as Brown was moving toward the officer. This is what Musk is referencing in his tweets. The DOJ did not find grounds to charge the officer, but in a separate report released the same day, it did find evidence of systematic racial discrimination in Ferguson at the hands of the city's police department and municipal court. Now, the DOJ in its scathing report pointed to the statistics for proof. Black people in Ferguson are twice as likely to be searched during vehicle stops than whites. So remember, hands up, don't shoot. After Ferguson became a nationwide protest symbol for police mistreatment of minorities, it was about more than the shooting of Michael Brown. It was about the pattern of police shootings and brutality in this country. And hashtag stay woke, which Musk mocked, was how Twitter wanted called out racial injustice, how they wanted to call out racial injustice.
I mean, let's go back to what Don Lemon said there at the end before he got into whatever tangent point he was trying to make.
Now, Musk replaced a deleted tweet with a follow-up tweet containing only the link to a Department of Justice report on Brown's death. Okay, facts first here on CNN.
Don Lemon literally says, "Facts first" here at CNN, as he tries to debunk the right-wing narrative on Hands Up, Don't Shoot, and then completely pivots to a report which happened after the fact, claiming that supposedly the Ferguson Police Department is racist. What does that have to do with the Hands Up, Don't Shoot myth, which was a myth? It was a lie, a bogus narrative that got spun into an activist talking point which spawned Black Lives Matter, and the whole racket that's begun there. What is this supposed report on the entire Ferguson Police Department, which, again, the stats cited are a little bit misleading. It's hard to really understand the deep context here or some of the nuances. How does this report somehow justify the straight up lie that was promoted by activist groups, that was promoted by CNN? Don't forget this right over here, where these activist journalists at CNN actually promoted the Hands Up, Don't Shoot narrative, as you can see from the photo right here where they're all putting their hands up. Well, very simply, that's not an excuse that justifies absolutely nothing. Don Lemon, with his facts first CNN fact check of Elon Musk promoting his right-wing talking point, is essentially saying, well, I mean, technically, if we look at everything, if we look at the whole macro picture, it was justified because, the Ferguson Police Department racist. I have a word that I want to say right now, but obviously I have to hold back. What I will say is, that's one of the dumbest things I have ever heard. But this is nothing new. Every time the left gets caught, they say, well, actually, there's more context. Or in the case of Jussie Smollett, actually, for instance, that's a great example. Jussie Smollett straight up faked a hate crime during one of the most divisive political moments in American history, thanks to the media. And once the truth came out and once people realized that the whole thing was a hoax, a deliberate hoax to promote himself as some sort of activist hero, well, what was the left wing saying? Well, I mean, the facts of the matter here don't really matter because Jussie Smollett was highlighting a real problem. You know, the real problem of Trump supporters being absolute evil, terrible people, and Donald Trump's America, MAGA country, being a violent, dangerous place for minorities. Absolute lunatics. I mean, this is what they do. They dig their heels in, they double down, they justify, they distract, they go on a tangent that has absolutely nothing to do with the issue at hand. But the simple fact of the matter is, the Hands Up, Don't Shoot narrative was a lie, just like all the other lies involving Kyle Rittenhouse, Jacob Blake, and some would even argue Mr. Floyd. It's nothing but constant lies, and it has real devastating impact. You know, people lose their lives. Cities are burnt. The very delicate social fabric that's holding American society together is ruptured because of these narratives. You don't get to do that. You don't just get to inject venom into society and then say, well, you know, it might have been a lie. It might have been a totally bogus narrative that was debunked and led to mass rioting, fire, and death. But my Ferguson Police Department bad. But my police department bad. America racist. White people racist bad. I mean, these are the signs of a bad person, of bad people. People who are willing to spread malicious lies. They're willing to forego the truth as long as it advances their narrative and their cultural power. And this is what we see from them all the time. And when you're looking for just a little bit of self-reflectiveness, you know, maybe an acknowledgement or an apology of wrongdoing. We got this story wrong. We were wrong. Instead, you get this. You get this condescending garbage from Don Lemon as he continues to pile on to the media attacks against Elon Musk. And you wonder why CNN is failing. You wonder why Don Lemon lost his show and is now a morning show host. Except, no, you don't wonder at all. It's extremely obvious. It's right in front of you. These people cannot and should not be trusted because they are liars, and even on top of that, they are malicious liars with extremely selfish intentions. I mean, just think about the context. They're willing to destroy American society and pit Americans against each other, whether it be by race, gender, or political affiliation, as long as it means they're advancing their grasp on cultural influence and they're generating clicks. These are terrible people. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.